All right, today we're jumping into a really powerful and, believe it or not, a very timely story from Sanskrit literature. It's called Varadakshina-pishachah, which, when you translate it, means the dowry demon. And this story, it's built around just three main characters, but it delivers a critique of human greed that feels, well, surprisingly spot on even today. So our story kicks off with our first character, a father who is deeply worried. And at the very center of all that worry, his beloved daughter. And then there's the final piece of the puzzle, a demon. Yeah, you heard that right. So how are these three going to cross paths? Well, let's just say it's not at all how you'd expect. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the village of Siddhapur, and we meet this guy, a householder named Govinda. On the surface, everything seems fine, but deep down, he's carrying this massive weight on his shoulders. And the source of all this stress? Well, it's actually his biggest joy in life, his only daughter, Subhashini. She's described as virtuous, beautiful, and she's just reached the age where she can get married. But here's the catch. In their world, this happy moment comes with a huge, crushing financial headache. And this is really where Govinda's problem hits home. This quote basically tells us that every single family of a potential groom demands a dowry of thousands of rupees. I mean, for a regular guy like Govinda, that's a fortune he just doesn't have. He's completely trapped by this tradition. So right when Govinda's thinking all is lost, who shows up? An old friend from his childhood, a merchant from this city named Sudarshan. It seriously feels like a miracle, like a little bit of hope when he needs it most. So Sudarshan hears the whole sad story, and he makes what sounds like an amazing offer. He says, "Hey friend, I can spot you 5,000 rupees. Don't even worry about paying me back right now. We'll figure it out later." I mean, for Govinda, hearing these words changes absolutely everything. Okay, so now Govinda's feeling confident, right? He's got his friend's promise, he goes out, finds the perfect young man for his daughter, and the groom's family is happy to agree on a dowry of 3,000 rupees. Everything is set. The wedding is on. But, and you knew there was a but coming, didn't you? When Govinda goes to the city to get the money, his friend suddenly has a major case of amnesia. Sudarshan just plays dumb, saying something like, 5,000 rupees? Did I say that? I really don't remember. And besides, my business is doing terribly. Unbelievable. Govinda is just crushed, completely floored by this cruel betrayal. He has no money, the wedding is just around the corner, and he feels like he has only one option left. He has to make that awful journey to the groom's family, tell them the humiliating truth, and call the whole thing off. So there he is on this miserable trip to the groom's village. The sun starts to set, and he realizes he has to cut through this dark, spooky-looking forest to get there. And then, out of nowhere, this dark shape just drops out of a tree right in front of him. A voice cuts through the darkness, asking, "Hey, you're walking all alone in the dark? Aren't you scared?" Now, Govinda is a pretty brave guy. He doesn't spook easily, and he figures out pretty quick that he's dealing with a pishachah. Think of it like a ghost or a demon. But he knows the stories, right? He knows these things only have power over people who are afraid. So what does he do? He just stands his ground, totally calm. So Govinda just spills his guts, tells the pishachah his whole terrible story. And the demon does something, well, something no one would ever expect. It says, "Why are you so worried? Your daughter's wedding is going to happen, just as planned. I'll give you the 3,000 rupees. And just like that, the problem is solved. The wedding goes off without a hitch, a huge success, everyone's happy. A few days go by, and the groom's family starts heading home with their wonderful new daughter-in-law, Subhashini. So their cart is rolling along, and guess where they pass? That very same tree in the forest. And sure enough, the pishachah appears again. But this time, it yells out this terrifying threat. "Oh, demon, now I am going to kill you." As you can imagine, the family is freaking out. They think the pishachah is threatening their new bride. But the creature just laughs at them. It's not after a person, it points right at the bag of dowry money and makes it clear that that is the real demon it's here to destroy. And this is where the pishachah lays down the central lesson of the entire story, a truth that's sharper than any fang or claw. It says it is because of this demon, and it gestures to the money, that many humans behave more wickedly than any actual demon ever could. And with that, the pishachah snatches the bag of money right from the father-in-law and just vanishes into the trees. And the family is just left there, totally stunned, forced to really think about what it just said. In that moment, you can just feel the shift in the air. The mother-in-law in this incredible moment of clarity. She turns to Subhashini, takes her hands, and says, "That demon's actions, they've removed our ignorance. You must forget all about the dowry." And it wasn't just words. The father-in-law steps up and proves they've truly changed. He makes this solemn promise to Subhashini, saying he will personally have 3,000 rupees worth of jewelry made just for her. And on top of that, he says he will go to her father and beg for forgiveness for his family's greed. So the story ends with the father-in-law's quiet thought, a question that's not just for him, but for every single one of us. Wow, are demons, in fact, better than humans? It's a heck of a question, isn't it? It really forces you to ask where the true monsters are. Are they the supernatural creatures from folklore, or are they hiding right inside the human heart, corrupted by greed?